Hold up and wait 1 minute. Are you feeling the burn? Like, seriously, are you feeling like your shoulders are hunched over from the weight of the world and your to-do list? Not alone. Today's leaders are facing unprecedented pressure. But what if I told you there's a secret weapon to unlocking your leadership potential? No, it's not a magic one, though that would be pretty amazing. It's actually about tapping into your inner game. Buckle up, because we are going to be diving in deep into the world of leadership with the incredible Shauntel Murphy. Be right back.
And we'll be right back. Come with me, let's rap. Take a trip and we back. And we'll be right back. I stand for what you stand for. Hey, I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid. Follow me.
Welcome back to the Transform You Live Show. That's Transform the Letter U Live Show. I'm your host, as always, Marcus Hart. And today we're on a mission to unleash the leader within. But can I be honest though, and can we get real for a second? Leadership, as we all know, is not easy. And like, what better time to talk about leadership than what's going on at the time of this recording? You know, we just transitioned over to a new leader. So it could be a constant balancing act between pushing the boundaries, but also there's a big one that most people don't talk about, and that's putting your self-care at the top. See, that's all about navigating the chaos while you stay true to your values, and most people don't know how to do that. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today with our amazing guest, Shauntel Murphy. Shauntel is a renowned leadership coach and a true inspiration. She's helped countless individuals unlock their potential and achieve extraordinary results. So if you are aspiring to be a leader, or you are a leader, you're an entrepreneur who's also navigating the ups and downs, or maybe you're just someone who's looking to level up your game, this episode is for you. We will be exploring everything from the importance of self-care for leaders to the power of breaking free from those pesky, limited beliefs that hold us back. And also, we're going to dive into the cultivated growth mindset that most of us don't know how to shift to. And we're going to talk a little bit about building high-performing teams and discovering the magic of the community. So get ready to be inspired, challenged, and equipped with the tools to become the best version of yourself, a leader. Let's get started. How's it going, Shauntel?
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a fantastic day, and this is the perfect point to get this started. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of leadership, I want my audience to learn a little bit more about your incredible journey. You told me a lot about it, and I think they deserve to tell us about your own leadership story.
Definitely. I started off in corporate America, and I was there for over 2 decades, and I aspired to climb the corporate ladder like a lot of other individuals. That was my goal, was to start from the bottom, work my way to the top. And through that period, I started to work with some really excellent leaders that actually tested me, challenged me, helped me refine the way that I envision working and how I thought of myself as a leader. And then throughout that transition, I worked with some terrible leaders that jolted the whole workforce. And I started to see individuals go from work fatigue to burnout. I saw individuals suffer anxiety. They were scared to go on vacation. They just didn't know what the temperature of the work life would be like coming to work. And that's what inspired me to start my own company, Wishing You Well in Life. And that's what I do mean, is wishing you well in life. This is my gem back to the economy, because I want to make it cool to go back to work again. You want to have fun while you're at work. We spend so much time at work, and we don't even spend that much time with our loved ones. So it's important that we do go to work and we're working for a place that we actually do like, where we share those same ideals and values. And I want to make it towards where leaders understand how to embrace this community, how to embrace their workers so that they feel the same way about coming to work. I think, as I told you before, the real test about your job is, how do you feel on Sunday nights? Do you feel excited about going to work, or are you suffering from anxiety and almost depressed about going to work? Then that shows about the work that you have. And I really want to change that aspect.
So that shows a lot of empathy. You mentioned the importance of shaping the workplace community so that it becomes more inviting, how to adjust to whatever the challenge may be going on within that environment, and reflecting on like the importance of like, when do I need to pull back? I'm starting to burn out here. When do I need to pull back? And is it okay for me to pull back? You shouldn't have to ask if you're okay. I like that. And these are crucial defining moments that seem like it was a calling for you. So do you seem like, for you, was it more of like, I'm fed up with this, I'm fed up with the way this is going, and nobody's really respecting um the system? Or was it more of like, this is how I can go out and share what worked for me with others?
Yeah, that's a great question. At first, I didn't know, but I was actually just called to this as a natural talent. By me working
Mm.
in corporate America from the front line to the top of the line, individuals have always grasped towards me, and I've always been a voice for those. I've always been a voice for those that were not able to speak for themselves. And I always had the insight. And by me being 100% solution oriented, once I see a problem, I start to come up with solutions. And by working with individuals that were profound leaders, I saw how they were able to captivate individuals, and we would have followed them wherever they went. That's just how inspiring they were. And then I saw the toxic leadership. And I said, what I want to do is I want to build something towards where everybody can be able to actually be able to develop these leadership skills. These leadership skills are something that are not taught in Harvard. They're not taught throughout life. But I felt that if I step away for a second, build up a system, start to integrate different pillars, and then come back to the workforce and integrate those things, that could be able to shift up the environment. So when I did leave corporate America, like I told my coworkers, I'm coming back. I'm coming back to save you guys, because there is a better way. There is a better way to do the work. And my whole philosophy is, if I can change the way that leaders lead, this will transition into the way that workers work.
So I love that. I really love that a lot. With every hero's journey, there is like a challenge to overcome, and there's going to be some significant change within that challenge that happens within you, and I think it's important to like see what drove your resilience, and what created the self-belief that you pass along to someone else. Was there like a similar situation, a situation of some sort? You did mention like walking away from corporate America and then going back to help others. Was that a challenge in itself?
It was not necessarily a challenge by leaving. By leaving, that came easy. The challenge was coming
Mhm.
back. But there
Right.
was a situation that did occur within one of the companies that I work for. Within a 4-year period, we were introduced to 6 to 7 different leaders. And with
Mm.
a 4-year period, by you having 6 different CEOs, 6 different leaders,
Yeah.
them bringing in their own senior management team, them bringing in their own HR leadership team, them bringing on their own initiatives. Each leader shook the workplace. Each leader was almost like a wrecking ball to the building, where they would stop certain programs. Some of the programs were
Yeah.
programs for the community, our community outreach programs. So with those programs now taken away, how can we do our due diligence as a organization? We're supposed to give back to the community. Sometimes I would come to work, and then I would find out that this person got laid off, this person got terminated, this person is now transitioned to a different department. So when you see different leaders coming in and riveting and rocking the workplace, it becomes like toxic. I literally would see individuals who were very confident within their leadership style, very confident within their roles. Now they're no longer here anymore. Who's going to pass that baton? I literally would see good workers start to look for another job. Before silent resignation was even really coined a term, I literally witnessed that, where people were like, hey, I'm not going on vacation, but now I'm going to use my vacation time to start going on job interviews now. So it's like, wait a minute, we had a great thing coming, but then just seeing the profound impact on how leaders can have and how they can shift things up, I felt it was only my due diligence to definitely step off that corporate ladder, to jump off the corporate ladder, and to develop something towards where we could be able to stop this toxicity and we could be able to create a healthy, harmonious work environment where individuals are not scared to come to work anymore.
Man, I was seeing a picture in my head as you was explaining that situation. I think that's a situation that is also common in the corporate world. A lot of times we can see this in public service type positions, like, you know, in the law enforcement. Law enforcement goes through, you know, a hell of a lot of leadership changeovers, and you know, even some as big as the chief of police. You know, when you see a brand new chief of police come in, Milwaukee is a good example of that. We didn't had like a couple police chiefs over the years, and also sheriffs that come in too.
Mm.
You can just see like how the rest of the workers, you know, they kind of like, you know, okay, what's going on now? Where do we go from here? And even for my own personal self, like, you know, being in the military, like from being here on ground in country and then deploying overseas to Iraq, we had a changeover in leadership, and it was quite the transition. So, so I think I think that's a powerful illustration that a lot of us can relate to, who's watching this, and you know, I think that's very crucial. And a big part of that, though, is you know, as we gonna shift gears here, is like talk about leaders in a game. You know, we know self-care is crucial, but how do we actually make it a priority in the midst of a million deadlines?
Well, that's a great question because a lot of leaders, they almost feel like they don't have time to work on their self. They don't have time to step away from the office, and they have their schedule packed with meeting after meeting after meeting. And the first way to schedule this time is to actually schedule the time. Put the time on your calendar. I recommend that you start off with at least 3 10-minute slots. And within these 3 10-minute slots, you can take the first 10 minutes and you can sit at your office, at your desk, and you can just meditate. Take deep breathing exercises. Meditate. They have a lot of different quick meditations that you can download on YouTube, or you can just take the time to take a deep breath and check in with yourself. Say, how am I honestly doing today? What could possibly bother me today? How can I overcome this? The second part of your time, you can use this by taking a walk. I encourage everybody to get one with nature. Go outside, just take a quick walk. Either you could take a walk to get your lunch, a cup of coffee, or just walk to the corner and just take a deep breath. It's okay. This helps you dissect the information that's been funneled into you from the day. And most importantly, this helps you get things out. We need to get things out. And then for the third part of your day, do something fun. It doesn't have to be like a task, or it doesn't have to be just something just so serious, but listen to some music, do something, eat like one of your favorite snacks and just focus within that moment, or focus onto gratification. What are you grateful for? What inspires you? What are you looking forward to doing? And I think that by doing those short things, that does start to help you get into more of a self-care. I encourage leaders, you know, to do different exercises, as this does boost your energy. It does boost your resilience. And like you said before, leadership, it can be very demanding and it has constant pressure. So the one thing that you want to do as a leader is you want to make sure that you're fully energized and fully charged, because the more energized and charged you are, that's how your team is going to feed off of you. So if you want your team to be a certain way, you yourself have to be that model and you have to be able to give that. And then it's like a mirror image. If you smile at somebody, what do? They typically smile back. So that's how a leader you want to be. You want to be a mirror reflection.
The thing that stood out for me was the exercise part and the nutrition. Do people tend to overthink that a lot? You know, is Is there a one size fit all for everybody, or how do you go about consulting someone?
Absolutely. Some people, they say, well, I don't know what to do as far as exercise. And once again, I
Mhm.
tell them it can be any type of physical activity. Find what works for you. Some people, they do yoga. Some people, they do exercise. You can do kickboxing. Just the main thing that I encourage is that find something that you can consistently do. A lot of people
Yeah.
can't consistently go to the gym, but everybody can consistently walk. So I start with individuals just going for a walk. We all can do that. Just start off by doing something because this does enhance the cardiovascular health. This does improve your mood. This does build the resilience so that you can tackle burnout. Leaders are more likely to suffer burnout compared to their teams. So we need to be able to sustain this by modeling these healthy behaviors. And then you can make it fun within your team. You can have like a challenge, a 10-day challenge where everybody is walking and you can gauge who has the most steps at the end of the week or who has the best ideas for making a salad or who has the best ideas for a healthy lunch and start to integrate those ideas towards where it's not just you doing it in silo, but now you have a team. And this is the great part about it because when you're working out, what do you need? You need an accountability partner. So now if
Yeah.
the whole office as an accountability partner and everybody's getting fit together, then that's a done deal. So whether you're doing a morning run, yoga, or a brisk walk during lunch, you just have to keep it consistent.
A lot of that sounds like really breaking free from them limiting beliefs. We got a lot of beliefs that we set up, and a lot of times we don't really know what those limiting beliefs are because we on autopilot all the time. And for me, me personally, I went through the imposter syndrome. I went through the whole perfectionism. I still go through that sometimes with perfectionism. Is there a way that, like, I mean, besides what we just touched on with the exercise, because I think that's a very incredible example of how you just tell someone like, hey, don't overtake this thing. Just start here. You have a starting point and then, invite the rest of the team in, and gradually you'll move away from some of these limiting beliefs. So is there other strategies for being able to put an ID on our beliefs that limit us or the challenges?
Yes, there is. And the one thing about the limited beliefs is that these start while we are born. When we're babies, we start to filter in a lot of different information and everything that we receive. We're not able to deny the information. We're not intelligent enough to reject the information. So we accept everything that's given to us. And as we get older, sometimes we're able to shed these ideas and we're able to reject them and break free from them. But a lot of the limited beliefs, they do start off in our heads. We do have those inner voice critics. And the one of the main things that I love to address with them is self-reflection. It's good to do some journaling and to help uncover these reoccurring negative thoughts. And sometimes we don't even realize that they're reoccurring in our head. They're reoccurring like a bad sitcom that just keeps playing on repeat in our head. So we need to ask ourselves, why are these same negative thoughts occurring in my head? And say, is it true? What are these based on? Is it based on a fact? Is it based on something that has actually happened? And then once we can recognize the pattern and see where we're getting stuck at, to see when that voice is popping up. Are we being overwhelmed in that moment? Are we being doubtful in that moment? Or even are we around certain people that are stemming these ideas within us? And then here's the part where we really gain the momentum is by challenging those limited beliefs, replacing those beliefs with something positive besides saying, am I scared of this? And it's like, no, I'm not scared. I'm qualified. I am able to do. I am of greatness. I do have the skill to do that. I am able to do X, Y, and Z. And then you really start to build that model. So every time you get that negative voice, you counteract it with that positive voice of reaffirming who you really are. Sometimes people have to sit and look at their certifications at their licenses, at all of their certifications, just to give them back that validation. Because a lot of the times, we're the only people that's stopping us. It's not society that's stopping us. It's not the jobs that's stopping us. It's not our family. It's us. So we need to overcome us. We need to break free by stepping outside of our comfort zone. And I know that this is a little bit challenging for others. So take baby steps outside your comfort zone, and this will start to build confidence, and this will start to dismantle the fear that you have for yourself. And a lot of people, they do suffer from imposter syndrome. And sometimes you're not an imposter. You have to be able to reflect on your wins. I had one of the executives that I was coaching, I had him write all of his wins down on a wall. Like, write down everything that you have accomplished, write down everything. The next thing I know, a couple of months later, the wall was filled with wins. And he was like, I almost feel like bragging over here. But it's like, you're not bragging, that's you. That's how awesome you really are. So the next time you feel like you're in the mode of doubt, look at the wall to remind you.
You know how great that feel when somebody tell you that, like, hey, you awesome. Take a look at all that you got on the wall. I mean, man, that's some incredible, like, powerful words. And I think that's the biggest thing you can do to validate someone who's been invalidating themselves. And a lot of times they borrowing a lot of that invalidation from external ghosts, ghosts that's not even there. There's nobody around them telling them, like, you're a bomb, or this is not who you really are. And this is a perfect way to inspire a growth mindset, okay, and to really embrace the challenges, as you mentioned, about learning from setbacks, and most importantly, celebrating successes.
Mhm.
And before I throw this alley oop to you, that you're gonna dunk, there's a great player that, like, I was blessed to be able to witness playing, was Michael Jordan. And one of the biggest setbacks he had was experiencing the death of his father, and he took a break from basketball after that. And a lot of people don't know that, like, there was some doubt that he could return because his father was like his biggest cheerleader. But he was able to overcome that, and we know the rest is history. So how do we get people to, just embrace the challenges and really look at the setbacks as what they are and say, okay, this is what I can get out of this to be able to win?
That's a great question, because one of the things that I do encourage is that as we all want positive things to happen, we all have to at some point know that we will face some type of adversity. So we don't know when the adversity is going to come or when the obstacle or the hurdle is going to come. But I always teach leaders to anticipate something is going to happen. So let's just anticipate your fear is going to happen. In that moment that your fear is happening, let's picture yourself overcoming it. Let's picture yourself taking a deep breath, thinking positive, relying on a support system. Build out a support system that's going to be there for you. We all need a support system. Who's going to be your support system as you're going through this moment of adversity? Is it going to be your mom? Is it going to be your best friend? Is it going to be your spouse? Who are these individuals? Because we can't do everything alone. We have to be able to digest things. So going back, picture yourself facing adversity. Picture yourself relying on your team that's going to be there to support you. Picture yourself overcoming it. We always picture ourselves overcoming something positive, but we never picture ourselves overcoming something negative. So think about what could possibly happen. I know a lot of people have like a fear of speaking in public, or they have a fear of losing their spouse. But also too, the thing about it is picture that moment happening and then picture yourself overcoming it, because life does go on. Unfortunately, it does. So picture yourself going on and moving forward how that person would want you to move forward. Be an inspiration for other people. Put yourself in that moment of your adversity, look it on head on, and know that you will get this through. And that is a part of building a growth mindset. A growth mindset is always staying positive, having that moment where you can reflect on your feelings, giving yourself that time because it's okay. You're sad, you're mourning. But the key is to not stay in that point, is to build off of that. That will give you that resilience. It will give you that hustle, that grit to move forward. And other people are going to be watching you. They're going to be aware of what's going on with you. But the power is how you come back. That 2.0 model, that 3.0 model. When Jordan came back, he was back and was on fire. So the thing is that coming back and now you're just being on mute and robotic. But the point is coming back with a different pitch in your voice, a different tone, a different swag, a different way on how you walk, a different way on how you lead other people. And leading isn't just in leading, it's also too within mentoring and coaching. But once again, it does go back to journaling out your thoughts and seeing yourself overcome it. If you can see it, then you can definitely achieve it. And that's the main thing about it.
I love that. This is so fascinating. If we took everything you just said there, and before that, dropped it in the lake, we have a lake of gold. We'll all be rich. So yeah, I love that, Shauntel, and most importantly, when it comes to leadership, we got to build those dream teams. How do we foster a culture of trust and collaboration, especially in today's remote, hybrid work environments? It's a lot of that. How do we do it?
Yeah, one of the things that the pandemic did was it did scatter and shake things up where now you don't have to be on site, where now we do have things where they're remote, hybrid, and we do still have some players that are on site. And the thing about it is that within these players, we have multicultural and multi-generational teams. So we're trying to fuse together these individuals. And I see a lot of leaders are being challenged because they feel like they just have groups of people that have come together, but they really don't have a team of people that have been able to come together. So one of the things to do that is to prioritize communication. Don't just come into the meetings and start with the agenda. Come into the meetings with not just like an icebreaker, but a meaningful question towards where you will able to start having meaningful conversations with your team. Start to ask them things that can help them identify themselves. And with the leader themselves being trustworthy, being vulnerable, put yourself out there a little bit because you will seem more humanized. You will seem more trustworthy where individuals can build that layer and that foundation of trust. And once individuals are transparent, they feel vulnerable and they're sharing things with you, that's how you're able to create a shared vision for success. And that's how you bring a group of people to now a solid team of people. And this also, too, it helps promote their well-being. Everybody is not on the same site anymore. So it's hard to check the pulse of individuals who are working remote, who are working hybrid. You don't really know. You can't really gauge that. So you want to be able to promote well-being, encourage more of work-life and balance, and by respecting those boundaries. I had an executive, he was sending out emails at 6 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. That's not balance.
Right.
No one wants to see the email at that time. That gives people anxiety. So, like I said before, if you are promoting something, you have to be the champion of it. And that means you yourself have to do it. So when you are leading these remote and hybrid teams, it does require balance, empathy, and strategic thinking. You have to address the unique challenges, and your team will tell you some of the challenges that they're facing where you don't have to guess. They'll actually let you know. And then the leaders, they can provide with the real-time feedback, they can provide really good solutions so that they can create cohesive, productive teams that are able to thrive in the workplace.
Those examples of like 6 p.m., 10 p.m. calls and text messages and emails, oh my God, that is so reminiscent of some things. And I see a lot of those mistakes out here, being made. And then just going straight into the meeting, at least come in and ask people what's their favorite knock-knock joke or something. You should have, this is incredible. So let's explore like more about the remote work and team dynamics. 'Cause this is probably one of my Achilles heel, so to speak. And, not only I'm going to be taking notes, but there's a lot of people that, come to me about like, what can we do as far as like looking for opportunities when we lead in remote hybrid teams, because, I'll be like, man, I'm trying to figure out the solution to that too.
Well, one of the things that I do in my programs is I help people by helping people in real time. So one of my executives, he had a full remote team. And so I said, one of the things that you need to do is you need to be able to offer something where you do have a retreat, bring individuals together. So that was the first time where a lot of them were able to come together. Some of them had never met each other in person, and they had been working together for over 3 years. So you want to be able to finally bring your team together. And when these teams finally get together, it's like that awkward silence because they're used to that barrier wall of the computer screen. Some individuals didn't even know how tall their coworkers were. So some of them are looking up at coworkers, some of them are looking down. But this is a space where now you guys are really able to get together and interact through retreats and through workshops. That's how you guys are able to work together as a team. That's how you guys are able to learn different things and have those real meaningful conversations. And you're able to be off the grid a little bit. Now you can find out how funny your boss really is. Now you can find out how knowledgeable some of your coworkers really are. Or maybe even ask them questions like, I didn't know that you knew how to do X, Y, and Z. Because when you're in the meetings, it's so scripted and you have to follow that suit. But when you're able to eat together, to work out together, to just see each other in natural form, that really does do a lot. You want to be able to create that space where people are able to cultivate within themselves. Sometimes leaders think that they're in charge of the culture. You're not. You are able to put people in that environment, but the team, they're there to establish that culture. And when you're able to do offsite retreats and even engage in different community activities. One executive, he took his team and what did they do? They helped plant trees throughout the community. So when you're able to engage in those type of enriching activities, where you're able to start building that camaraderie, where you're rubbing shoulder to shoulder together, where you're working out with the community, that helps out a lot. And then when you're able to come back to work and you see everybody on the computer screen, now you can think back on the moments that you guys did share together and the things you did do. And what does that do? That helps build real relationships. So now, even though you might be off work, now you might want to text your coworker now and say, hey, what's going on with this? Because now you built a real relationship. Nowadays, people aren't building those real relationships. Once they get off work, they're off work and they're doing something else.
Excellent. Well, before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsor and just take a quick break, and we'll be right back talking with the wonderful Shauntel Murphy, who's just leading us in the right direction of like proper leadership and self-care and really learning how to cultivate a team and so much good stuff on the way. We'll be right back. Tired of the same old grind? Feeling stuck in a rut? It's time to elevate your morning routine. Introducing Transform You Roasted Coffee Blend, the perfect companion for ambitious individuals like you. This isn't just any coffee. Our experts have roasted a blend that offers a rich, smooth taste that energizes your mind and sharpens your focus. Whether you are tackling a challenging project or simply enjoying a moment of quiet reflection, Transform You helps you to unlock your full potential. But it's much more than a delicious cup of joe. Transform You is ethically sourced, supporting communities and promoting sustainable practices. Plus, a portion of proceeds go towards mental health and community development initiatives. With every sip, you're not just adding the necessary gas you need for yourself, but you're putting some well-needed gas into positive change. Ready to transform your mornings? Visit our website at www.transformumedia.com. That's transformumedia.com to order your bag of Transform You Roasted Coffee Blend today. Experience the difference. Transform You, putting gas to your journey to success. All right, we back. Once again, this is the Transform You Live show, Transform the Letter U. And I'm Marcus Hart. We got Shauntel Murphy with us today, who's been an incredible guest so far. And really, I just been, feeding off of her because she is the genius and the brains behind most of the things we are learning today. And so much of it I have myself had ingested and hope to put into action right away. And speaking of action steps, so how can our listeners actually implement some of these powerful strategies in their own lives? And what are some actionable steps they can take today?
Today, the first action step you can take is take out your calendar and immediately schedule some time to do just 10, 15 minutes for yourself. Schedule out me time. And me, you would think that it stands for you yourself, but that stands for mental and emotional. Mental, emotional, me. So schedule out that me time to get mentally tapped into yourself and check in with yourself emotionally. Now, after you have scheduled your me time, then I want to challenge you to have at least 2 meaningful conversations today with people who you wouldn't normally interact with. And what I mean by a meaningful conversation is saying more than hello. Ask that person how they're doing today. And besides looking to return back with a reply, actually just listen to that person. Sometimes as we're talking to people, they're not looking for us to reply back. They're just looking to be heard. So just practice active listening. So schedule some me time, have 2 meaningful conversations, and then most importantly, get out there and start finding something to do as far as exercise. What are some good hobbies for you? What is something that you can realistically do? And you can do it towards where you can have an accountability partner, whether it's you and one of your coworkers going for a walk at lunchtime, or whether you walking your dog or you walking with your family members. But get out there and get one with nature. And these things will start to build up subtle habits. And if you do it at least for the rest of this week, by the beginning of next week, you will start to feel a little bit different. And that's the thing. We want it to work. We want you to feel different. And as you do feel different, you'll start to cultivate towards some more exercises and extending those time frames out.
Speaking of extending, we just got our short-term things that we can do right away and implement. And with these things, as you just offered up, you can start seeing some small wins happening. Now, for those who want to extend this out and look more towards the long term, there's such thing, this concept that you created, the 21-day challenge. And maybe explain this concept a little bit and maybe how can the listeners implement a personal challenge to improve on their leadership skills?
Yes, the 21-day challenge. This is simple yet a powerful concept and is grounded on the idea that it takes 3 weeks to form a new habit. As a leader, it takes consistent and intentional steps over a 21-day time period, and it helps you develop skills, enhance self-awareness, and this creates a lasting change. Just 21 days. So how it works, choose one of the areas you want to focus on, such as active listening, delegating effectively, or giving constructive feedback. So you set a daily action. Commit to a small, manageable action that aligns with your goal. For example, practice active listening with 1 conversation a day. So me and you are just talking, but it's more you talking and I'm listening. Or you can delegate 1 task each day to empower somebody else. As leaders, we're always talking about how we don't have enough time. Well, delegate some of those meetings to somebody else. Delegate some of those action items to someone else who's able to do them, especially if you have qualified people on your team. And then also another thing is to delegate meaningful recognition to a team member. So often we're criticizing people, but let's actually recognize these individuals as well. And so you can track your progress on your daily report. So create a log and then write out your daily log. So basically saying, hey, I had 1 conversation today where I was actively listening to somebody. I delegated somebody to empower somebody else. And within this repetition, it builds momentum. these small actions, they lead to big results now. After 3 weeks, these new behaviors, they'll become second nature and they're making you stronger and even more of a confident leader. So I've had leaders start off the grid. They meet with me on day one, boom, I'm giving them a 21-day challenge. And they're like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up to have homework or to have challenge. But it's like, no.
Yeah.
So like I tell my leaders, look at not one day, but this is day one. So put this as day one and go on your calendar and track what the next 21 days are. And within this 21-day period, it's going to elevate your skills and effectiveness. But just start off of choosing one of the areas to improve. Commit to one daily action a day and watch how these small steps will transform your leadership journey. Remember, great leaders are lifetime learners. Start your challenge today and see the difference in just 3 weeks. It works. 21 days. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So yeah, I do love that. And one thing to think about it is sometimes people require a much more deeper mindset shift. And there's practical tips that like you can help listeners use to shift those mindsets towards a more growth oriented and resilient approach to leadership. Maybe share some of those.
Yeah, definitely. I would have to just say, like, with the 21-day challenge, it does help you be mindful. And once you are starting to be able to be mindful, then it does help you shift. It helps you come out of your normal stance and it starts to help you realize the ideals that serve you. A lot of us have beliefs that just no longer serve us. They no longer quantify the individual of where we want to go. So I will definitely ask individuals, who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Let's put that on paper. And what are you doing to actually get there? And some people, they feel like they're stuck or they don't really know where to go with that. But if you do have some action item plans, start doing those things today. The 21-day challenge, it can be used towards you being the individual who you would like to become. It's a new year now, a new year, a new you, a new moment. Let's start that today. I think that it does start off with definitely doing some journaling. And I had a wise person tell me, if there's something, a subject that you want to learn about, get at least 3 books in that subject area. And now, boom, you're more qualified than 70% of the people that are just barely experts of that subject matter. 3 books will put you levels above them. So it's all about reading, journaling, taking that mindfulness approach, meditating your, and you have to sharpen your will. You have to step outside of your comfort zone to do something different. So I do encourage an infusion of all of these things. And I say this to your listeners, but it's not anything that I haven't done myself. So I've done all these things. And right after 121-day challenge, I'm doing another challenge because I'm always challenging myself. I'm telling, if I'm empowering people, I have to be an empowering person to do that to other people. So sharpens iron. So I understand that sometimes people may fall off. They might only do 11 days and they forget about the challenge within those 3 days. Well, just pick it right back up. We're only human. I'm not working with robots. So I do get that. But the thing is that practice doesn't make perfect. It makes permanent. So if you're able to establish these things, if you're able to have an accountability partner, set alarms, and you have it on your calendar, those are things that are going to help you do it pretty much effortlessly.
It's excellent. For those who really think that this is a lifestyle change, it's really a lifestyle adjustment. And that's what you really are like helping people to do, just adjust their lifestyle a bit. Because if you're just looking at it like, oh, this is what I got to do, no, don't look at it like that. It come in second nature. And a lot of times you mentioned it too, books, the stuff that we expose ourselves to, the type of content, that we expose ourselves to really matters. It really matters. So if you're going to have a lifestyle adjustment, you definitely got to find proper resources and recommendations. Are there any valuable resources for leaders, books, podcasts, or online communities that you may recommend?
There are so many, and it just all depends on where they are at within their journey. And that's why I do tell individuals just to take the time out to do your research. Look at different books and ideals and find out what's going to meet you within your journey. I know that when I partner with my clients or when I just do discovery calls in general, I want to see where that person is at because some people, they might be like, I don't do book by like an audio book. Okay, great. We'll put in the audio book. If you're taking a long road trip, find a good podcast to look into. I know that for the 6 to 8 weeks that I partner with executives, they're able to hack into my knowledge and we're able to take a deeper dive into where they're at and where they want to go. So each journey is going to be unique to different individuals, but I just challenge them to just start doing something today. If you don't have that book, get that book today. If you don't know what podcast to listen to and you are listening to this podcast and you're in some good company, then definitely start looking at some other podcasts to listen to. But it's all on what we put in. We want to put valuable content in and we want to start to get all that toxic stuff out. And just like we eat good, we want to listen good. We want to hear good things.
Yeah.
Those things are going to be attributed towards our success. It's basically building blocks.
Amen to that. That's very insightful. And before we wrap up, did you have any parting words of wisdom? I know you offer so many nuggets and gems throughout the whole episode, but it's always good to check in with you and see if we can borrow some more of that wisdom from you.
Yes. I want to just encourage everybody that I want you to be able to influence yourself. If you are struggling with something, it's not by happenstance. I want you to follow your intuition. If you're struggling with maybe starting your own entrepreneurial journey, go ahead and start that journey. See what that looks like. Do that today. We all did not come from generational wealth, but we are able to create that. So I want you to create that generational wealth towards where we can give something different to our future, where we can actually leave a legacy. That's what it's all about. Sometimes by us working a 9 to 5 job, that's not going to leave us that legacy that we need to leave. Sometimes that's going to leave other people bills. But if you're struggling, if you have a gift, if you have a talent, tap into that talent because there's only one you and you might be the solution to a serious problem. That problem may not be today. That problem might be 10 years from now, but we're going to need you to fix it. Each of us are qualified to do something. And I want to call out that qualification out of everybody so that you guys can be fully equipped towards that. We are leaders. We are shapers. We are role models. We are more than what we know. So I want you to go to your mirror and write down you are so that every time you look in that mirror, you know how great you are and think of different things that you're called to do. If you're a leader and if you're struggling within your leadership journey, definitely partner with me. Let's work together because that's what I actually do. A lot of leaders are stressed out about the next moves that they should make. You don't have to be stressed out. Why have a stressful night anymore? Partner with me. We can be a thought partner and we can work through this together. If you're having problems building up your workforce, let's talk about that. Let's see what we can do so that we can unite that workforce because leadership does start at the top. And if you're not doing well, it's going to trickle down from the living room to the boardroom and to individuals that are on the front lines. And if they're struggling and they do want to become that leader, become that leader. You don't have to wait for somebody to qualify you or to give you that promotion or that raise. You're qualifying yourself and you're starting today. And I want everybody to start right now. It starts now. That's it.
Wow, Shauntel, that's powerful and that's very incredible wisdom that you just shared with us. I really appreciate that. And, I'm glad to borrow that thought partner with you, thought partner phrase. I like that. I like that. That's the first time I ever heard that, so that's it. That's exactly what it is though. When you align yourself with someone who's not only just preaching, but they also, taking the actions already and, know the direction to guide you. So this has been an absolute game changer. I really appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate being here and I've had a great time. It seems like the time just goes by so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those who have been, watching this long and you made it this far, we want to remember one thing, and this is the thing that I have taken from this whole conversation today, is that leadership is a journey. It's not a destination. It's about continuous growth, self-discovery, and embracing the power of community. So I challenge you, my Transformers, my friends, to take one small step today towards becoming the leader you were born to be. Break free from those limited beliefs. Take a priority to your self-care. Cultivate a growth mindset that will propel you to brand new heights. And don't forget to connect with my friend here, Shauntel. You'll be able to find where you can connect with her. The details of that will be in the episode description below or to the side, however you are viewing or listening. And as always, thank you for joining me on the Transform You Live show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your fellow leaders. And remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are worthy of all your dreams. Blessings, peace, and lots of love. Until next time.
I stand for what you stand for. I'm at your door like the landlord. I can see the future, yeah, I fast forward. I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me, I'm in rare form. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid.